TG Geeks, episode 242, October 7th, 2019. What secrets lie on the dark web? Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the two gay geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery. Sci-fi, comics, film, horror genre, you name it, we are going to talk about it. Or actually, our trademark is you name it, we talk about it.
Yeah, what are you trying to do?
I'm trying to mess us up. I'm Keith Lane. We're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona, where it's getting cool finally. And we have a very busy weekend.
Oh, my God, yes.
My Lord. And
I'm Ben Raggington, also coming to you from a place that has actually cooled off to the point where now I'm sort of sick again. I'm annoyed. So if you hear me cough, I apologize. But that place is Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, let's just get right to it.
Prepare for hyperdrive.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of Episodes, the two gay geeks are discussing this.
Well, this time we are going to talk to Michael Nardelli, who is the creator, writer, director, producer, actor. He said he didn't do craft services.
He didn't do craft. The only thing he may not have done any
costumes. He
didn't do costumes, but he might have been like Best Boy or Gaff. I mean, who knows?
Who knows? He of the series Dark Web, and you can find that on Amazon, and he'll tell you all about that. It's we really enjoyed that. We'll talk about more.
Yes, we'll talk later.
And we have our birthday shout-outs. We have our featured podcast of the week. And we have the favorite feedback. Everybody, thank you for all the feedback. And a few shout-outs. And in our second segment, it's kind of a little bit of a downer, but we've lost quite a few people recently.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Over the last couple of weeks.
Commemorate those. And then we have our weekly recap and a few more shout-outs. So let's get right to talking to Michael. Mark. Who are we talking to? What do you say? What are we talking about?
Michael.
And this time we welcome to the microphone Mr. Michael Nardelli, who is actor, filmmaker, and he's got some an interesting series to tell us about. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Keith and Ben. Thanks for having me.
Sure.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, so tell us who Michael Nardelli is, because your IMDb page seems to be rather full with a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So tell us who you are, how you got started in the filmmaking, and then we'll segue into what you're working on currently.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out who Michael Nardelli is. I don't really know who he is.
Aren't we all?
Well, but that's like so many actors. I mean, Peter Sellers always said that he never knew who he was. I mean, he did all these characters, and he never knew who he was in real life. So you're in good company.
Well, good. Then that's very good company. Why, thank you for comparing me to him. But no, that sounds right. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I am like kind of an eclectic person, so that sounds about right. Yeah, I've done like a lot of genre stuff, and then I've done like Hallmark Christmas movies.
Oh my!
And I've done TV sitcoms and stuff like that, and your CSIs and Revenges and all that. And then now we have Dark Web, and yeah, I act, and then I write and produce and direct as well. And I've always been fascinated by storytelling, specifically, I love genre stuff, most dearly. But I love everything. I love theater and musicals, and I'm kind of an eclectic person. That's who I am, darn it.
Darn it.
What's your origins,
Yeah.
though?
How
We need an origin story.
How did you get involved in what got you? What's the bug, or what got you started with the filmmaking and that process?
Well, I was born on Krypton as well.
Aha! I see.
And Superman took all the glory, as a hero. So I had to find another career, to get the attention. So I chose acting. No, I grew up in Ohio, small towns. I was born in Ohio, and I always lived in kind of like small industrial towns. And I just grew up loving film and TV, and comics and books. I was always into storytelling. Wizard of Oz was the first movie I saw, and that started my addiction to film and TV, and especially fantasy and sci-fi and horror. And I don't know, I think because I was growing up in small towns, that was kind of I was drawn to bigger worlds and the future and what could be and what might be, and telling kind of authentic stories in an entertaining way with genre. And so, yeah, I was always just writing plays and performing when I was young, and doing little student films or short films with my friends, and puppet shows, and kind of writing and directing and getting the gang together and doing those. And it's kind of the same thing that I'm doing now, just with a little larger stakes and a little more expensive and more people in the room.
And you're supposed to be an adult now.
Supposedly. That's what everybody keeps telling me.
I
And
know.
at that age where I'm supposed to call myself an adult.
Hey,
Sometimes I
boys,
feel like one.
boys don't grow up. Only the toys change.
Exactly.
Exactly. Very true.
So
I love that, though. That's great.
you didn't grow up in Centerville, Ohio, did you?
Oh, God, no.
We were.
What's Centerville?
We just watched The Dead Don't Die last night. So
And Centerville, Ohio, is the story where the zombie apocalypse takes place.
yeah. Anyway,
Oh, so it's not real. How was that movie, by the way?
Actually, we loved it.
We love it.
We loved it, yeah.
Everybody else hates
Everybody
it.
else hates it. We loved it, but that's another story.
It's just quirky and weird.
It's
Anyway,
Jim
yeah.
Jarmusch, right?
Yes.
Yes. So
Yeah, I'm excited. I saw this one. I want to see that. I meant to see it when it was in theaters, so I'll have to check it out now.
yeah, and Larry Fessenden is in the film as well. So, and he's another genre horror filmmaker himself. Anyway, we got off track. That's one of those tangents I was telling you about. Occasionally that happens.
I like it.
So, tell us the project that you are currently working on that you want to tell the world about.
Yeah, well, Dark Web just came out on Amazon Prime, season 1, so it's 8 episodes. And if you're searching for it on Amazon, it helps to type in dark/web, because there are other dark webs. But yeah, I've been working on that for the last 3 years. I mean, I've been doing other stuff, TV and film, and I just did a play in LA. But Dark Web was the brainchild between me, my brother, and this guy Mario Michoni, and we did a film called Circle together, which is a Netflix movie that came out a couple of years ago. And Dark Web was kind of our next step. And it is a sci-fi horror thriller dealing with the world we live in now, which is this totally connected, social media crazed, internet, Alexa in your bedroom, Big Brother watching you kind of story. It's similar to Black Mirror, Twilight Zone. It has the anthology component, but then there's this overarching connective tissue storyline that the more you watch, you see that everything's kind of connected. And there's this missing girl who has left sort of clues behind her old high school friends, which are the anthologies that you watch. And then you see, there's a bigger story at play. So if you watch the whole season, it all kind of wraps up in a way that you see all these pieces are connected, kind of the same way that we ourselves are all connected now, thanks to the World Wide Web,
Exactly.
and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all those things. So, for better or worse, we're living in that world.
Yeah, that sounds fascinating. Was this your story then, or obviously?
Yeah, I had. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You had help with the story, but I mean, was it your brainchild or?
Yeah, how did the story come about? The basic genesis
I
of
asked
this.
that question inartfully.
Yeah. No, I mean, we worked on this movie Circle, like I said, which was this small indie film that we kind of did ourselves, me, Mario, my brother Tim. and we enjoyed working together. So we knew we wanted to do something again. And then I just kind of had this idea, growing up on like the Twilight Zone and Outer Limits and stuff like that, loving anthology shows and how they give you a chance to talk about relevant, topical, kind of current, important things that are going on, socially or economically or, in every kind of sense, but in an entertaining way where it's not so kind of in your face or invasive or divisive. And,
Right.
but we wanted to like challenge ourselves. And I had this idea of like, cause I love anthologies, but I also love the payoff of binging a show now or watching a whole season. So we did want to challenge ourselves with having a storyline that would connect everything. And that was kind of my idea or my pitch for it was like, let's do an anthology show, but let's, try to do something new, which I think for the first time or hasn't been done too often, having one storyline connect everything. So by the end of the season, you get this payoff, having watched 8 episodes. Because sometimes when I watch like Black Mirror or Twilight Zone, I'm like, oh wait, I just got invested in these people, and now it's done. Like I want more. Give me more of this storyline. So that was the initial pitch, and then we kind of from me, and then we talked about what the connective tissue would be, and we kind of all landed on the dark web because it was starting to be in the news a lot more at the time. All of we all are connected by it, for better or worse. There's sort of like an endless diamond mine of storytelling that can come from it, real life horrific things. And so, yeah, we kind of got fascinated by the dark web and figured that would be our connective tissue for this anthology show.
Right. I'm intrigued with the idea that you've got this thing. You start off as you said, an anthology series, very similar to like Twilight Zone or Outer Limits, but to also have this connecting storyline. What kind of challenge were you facing in order to try to marry these two, what would on the surface seem to be two very mutually exclusive methods or narratives? What kind of challenges did you face in order to try to bring these two things together into a cohesive show?
Yeah, it was tricky. It was a fun challenge, and I don't think we got it all right, but I definitely think we had a great time figuring out. It was like putting a puzzle together with all these different pieces, and we wanted to make sure that obviously that the anthology segments in the show were topical and relevant to what was happening with technology, and really specifically how it's making our generation feel. Instead of kind of getting overly technical with things. It was like, how does, the things that are happening on the dark web and the invasive nature of this and always having to kind of be on and be reachable, like how does that make us feel? And, we do feel like we're the first generation that remembers the analog world and is now, so we remember what that was like, and now we're having to sort of like find our footing in this totally digital world, and we thought that was kind of our unique point of view. But we wanted to make sure every storyline was relevant to the main characters and sort of the main storyline. So even if we have like an anthology show about, a guy getting a black market heart transplant or a girl who kind of rises to social media fame and then quickly realizes that there's some downside to that and the sort of invasive, nature of losing your privacy. Just making sure that all those storylines fit in with the main storyline and making sure that they reflected what the main characters were going through and what their emotions were and how they felt about technology. And then, it was making sure we had symbols and motifs and Easter eggs in there that kind of connect everything. If you're really paying attention, you'll see recurring imagery and names and certain themes that repeat over and over again that kind of relate to what happens at the conclusion of the series. I'm trying not to give everything away if people can watch it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the short answer is like putting a puzzle together with very tiny, tiny pieces and, pieces that were like all white or all black, that are hard to define where like, when you're putting a puzzle together and you have like 10 blue pieces that are the sky and you're like, oh God, where does that fit? There's like nothing I can link up to that. it was all about like finding the links and making sure things felt, organic and not forced.
Yeah. So I was, once again, back to your IMDb. It looks like you not only wrote several of the episodes or co-wrote several of the episodes. I don't know what it doesn't. I just noticed you were a writer on several episodes, as well as you directed one, and you have a part in several of the episodes as well. So that's just you have and producer. There we go. Writer, producer, director, actor. As you said, grip. I'm sure I did some of that. Yeah.
Craft table.
Craft services.
Craft services, yeah.
Anyway.
I didn't do that. We had a great craft service company. But I did bring LaCroix water sometimes.
Yeah, right.
Okay, that qualifies.
There you go.
That qualifies.
You bring Snickers for everybody when you're having a bad day.
Yeah, exactly. Do what you got to do.
Exactly. So tell us more about the production of this film. You said that there was...
series,
sorry. You said there was some background of that behind the scenes and front of the scenes that might be interesting to our audience, and specifically us as the two gay geeks.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm excited to talk to you guys, because I'm a gay geek too.
Yay!
But big time. And I don't think it's clear in the marketing of the show, or even when we talk about it, that it is a very like LGBTQ plus friendly show. In the storylines, in the characters, in the people that worked behind the camera, and some of the people that worked in front of the camera. So it was this majorly diverse and inclusive cast, like I said, of actors and also filmmakers. The two main characters on the show are lesbians and have sort of a very realistic, modern relationship. The character that I play, well, I don't want to spoil things, but there's other characters on the show that are, LGBTQ friendly. And I don't think it's clear in the marketing that, we are like a very welcoming show in that sense, not only from the people that worked on it, but also some of the content that you'll watch, if you choose to watch it.
Cool.
Well, that's certainly a great motivating factor for me.
Yeah. That's really forward thinking. And in the Hollywood, quote unquote, genre, shall we say, to making films and series and whatnot, it's not common to be that openly friendly behind in front of, as a whole series is related. I mean, it's not a norm. Let's put it that way.
It isn't, and unfortunately,
so
we see a lot in major studio productions. I mean, anytime they do try to present themselves as being very forward thinking in front of the camera, then you end up resorting to what we call kill the gays trope, which is something that I just completely utterly despise. So it's nice to see and hear that here is this series that truly is giving some positive representation out there.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if that is because this was an Amazon series, or if there was something else going on there.
No, it wasn't that. It was us, because we produced the show completely independently. On our own,
and then they picked it up
and posted it, and then we were able to bring it to Amazon, which we were lucky to do, and lucky to have them distributing it worldwide, which is really great. But no, that was kind of our modus operandi. We wanted to do that, and a lot of it wasn't even that strategic. It was just kind of like keeping our minds open in terms of like, who could play these roles, and not having like. Especially from our casting director, Russell Bose, was just like, cast the best person. Lose your preconceptions of what someone needs to look or sound or be like, and cast the best person, And then it was, me, Roxy, she directed, I'd say like 70% of this. And she is an amazing filmmaker, female filmmaker if you want to, but I just think of her as a filmmaker. And she's, LGBTQ. And it was never even a thought for me of like, should I consider the fact that she's, female or this or that? It was just like, she was the best person for the job. Like, I didn't even think about the sort of minutia around her personal life. It was just like, great.
Right.
Yeah.
And, and that's
how it
what,
should be.
That's what we strive for,
It's how it should be.
Yeah.
We want people to accept
so
us for who we are.
Kind of dumb. I think, you just put the best person in the best person you have access to, and the best person that you feel comfortable with, and all that. And then I feel like if you're open-minded, everything does kind of shake out in a fair way, where you have a diverse cast and group of filmmakers and everything. I think we just always had an open mind about everything, and there was no kind of like, well, we have to slot this in and fit that, or we have to do this, or we can't hire that, or and I think it just felt very like healthy to me in that way.
Cool. So what is next for Michael Nardelli?
Next up is I'm doing a small part in a film that's shooting in October in New York with my friend Siobhan Fallon, who I worked with. She's actually in Dark Web. And I worked with her on a film called Another Happy Day. And you'll recognize her for sure. She's in Men in Black. She's Sugar Water Lady, and she was the bus driver in Forrest Gump. And she's a good friend, so she's producing and starring in a film in New York that I'm going to go do. And then I'm writing a new feature right now that hopefully I'll get produced sort of in the same kind of indie infrastructure way that we did Dark Web in the next year or so. And then I just finished a play here in LA.
Oh, cool. What can you say what play that was, or?
Yeah, it's a new play. It was part of the Hollywood Fringe Fest, and it was called The Narcissist Next Door. And it was sort of a satire of LA lifestyle and LA dreams and LA people. If you've been to LA, you probably know. Probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I got that. Sounds familiar. It may have come across, in an email somewhere, but we don't. We live in Phoenix, so we don't get to LA all the time, but we get there frequently, and we get occasionally invitations to go to plays and releases and this and that and the other, and it may have come across in an email. I'm not sure. So that sounds fascinating.
Yeah, you're certainly the working actor, which is a great thing. I mean, it doesn't sound like you get much chance to rest on your laurels, but you're always out there taking on new projects.
It pays the bills, right?
Yeah. No, I don't like to. Yeah, pays the bills, and I don't like to rest on my laurels anymore. Like, finished Dark Web, and I was exhausted. I needed like a week off, and I was like, okay, what's next? Oh God, what's next?
Well, laurels are not very comfortable. So
no. Well, now that
it makes me nervous. Yeah.
Now that the first season of Dark Web is done, and especially since we haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it yet, is there a future for that show?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely, you'll see if you watch it, it ends in a way that should feel, mostly conclusive and satisfying. There's some, as with most kind of sci-fi horror things, there's some ambiguity, which is good to kind of leave you thinking and wondering. But it should feel satisfying. But we do definitely have an idea and a concept and a sort of rough outline of what season 2 and 3 could and would and should look like if we're able to do it. And we would love to do it with Amazon or a larger entity, or if not, we'll possibly do it the indie way again, like we did the first season. So, it just came out, so we're kind of trying to see what the reaction is, and if people really would like to see more of the characters and the storylines.
It was,
but if they do, we'll definitely try to make it happen for sure.
When was that released? Was it the 15th or something of August? I think it was.
It came out the Friday of Comic-Con, because we were there. We were invited to do a panel at Comic-Con, and we premiered the same night. Okay. So that was a crazy day.
Oh, I'm sure it was. I wish we could have been at Comic-Con this year.
Yeah, I couldn't make it.
Our lives get too busy.
Well, if you're going
sometimes.
to LA Comic-Con, we just got invited to do a panel. I think I can say that now. We got invited to do a panel there.
Oh, cool.
So if you're in LA for LA Comic-Con, come join us.
When is that?
And when is that?
That's the weekend of October 11th through the 13th. I don't have the exact date for what day our panel will be, but it's somewhere in that 11th to 13th region.
We might have to.
We'll
we
keep
might
that
have
in
to check
consideration.
out and
We'll-
see what we can do about that.
In
That
the
would be fun.
meantime, if people want to learn more, first, if they want to learn more about just the dark web, now you've already said that it can be seen on Amazon, but is there any other social media presence for the show itself? Like, does it have a Twitter presence or an Instagram or a Facebook presence?
All of that. So we are, and we're very, like, everybody's really active, especially on the Instagram. So it's at Dark Web Show on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We do cast takeovers every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific. We are doing giveaways and contests, and all the actors and filmmakers are very responsive and engage really well with those who've watched the show, fans of the show, or of the talent involved in it and all that stuff. So very active. So check us out.
And
We're
what
always
about
hanging around the real dark web?
Cool. And what about you? How can people learn more about what, not just, your activities in the dark web, but also anything that you may be working on, other projects?
He doesn't want to know people to know what he's doing on the dark web, but the dark web series.
Yeah, I'm trying to clear my search history.
Very funny. But if you're doing a play or something, like I said, or if you're going to be working on another project, how can people learn more about what you're doing? Any other social media presence that you yourself have?
Yes, sir. You can find me at the Nardelli. So TheNardelli. I almost just forgot how to spell my last name. The Nardelli on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and then I have a YouTube channel too. I post some stuff on there sometimes, but mostly the three usual ones: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Cool. Well, this has absolutely been fascinating. Thank you so much for being on our show.
Yes, and we recommend everybody take a look at this series, Dark Web.
Thank you, Keith and Ben. It's always great to meet some more gay geeks in my life.
Yay!
Woohoo!
Hey guys, my name's Gigi Edgley. I play Tiana on Farscape, and I'm the host of Jim Henson's Creature Shop Challenge. And you're listening to the amazing, awesome, brilliant, perfect, wonderful Two Gay Geeks. Mwah!
That's a lot of amazings.
I love that. We have a shorter one that she did, but that one I like to play every once in a while because it's just so her.
Yes, we're so hoping we could get her back on the show when we saw her at WhedonCon, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, she is just busy all the time.
Well, she's got a child also.
I know.
So that did not help.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean to make it sound that bad. I'm sorry, Gigi. Sorry.
No, she was having to take care of her child, and we understand that. So that it makes it a little more difficult to try to schedule some time with her because she has things that she has to do. That was a great.
Oh, it was a fantastic interview with Michael. And hey, he's a gay geek.
Yeah, how about
far out?
Yeah, that was really great. And we really we talked about, or you did a review.
I did a review on it
of the series, and we really liked it. It is very different.
Oh, I've not seen anything quite like this one.
It's really great. I like the storytelling and the way that they went about it. So it's really good. And here's a few selected birthdays for October 7th through October 13th, 2019. On October 7th, Desmond Tutu. He's 87.
My goodness.
Retired Anglican Archbishop of Cape Town, South Africa. He was anti-apartheid activist and an outspoken activist in the fight against HIV and AIDS, tuberculosis, racism, sexism, homophobia, and transphobia. He really is one of those that's standing out there.
The man's a saint.
He is. He truly is. Also on October 7th, Niels Bohr, who physicist, most notably known for his contributions to the understanding of the atomic model, or how the atom is structured, and quantum physics. So he was kind of right there on
the forefront of
the
the universe of the very, very small.
Exactly. Also, Yo-Yo Ma, famed cellist, and Andy Devine. He was an actor, but he was born in Flagstaff and raised in Kingman.
Really?
Yeah, interesting. And also
The twins.
the twins, Sean and Aaron Ashmore, who we haven't seen anything of recently.
No, they haven't done anything really big. I know that one of the Ashmore brothers, well, obviously we saw one of them in, I think it was Warehouse 13.
Yep.
The other one played, he played Iceman in some of the X-Men films, but, and one of them was also in, another sci-fi film that we were watching, like, they were freighters or something. They were,
Right.
Can't remember the name of that show.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they haven't been doing a whole heck of a lot. Not
Yeah.
that I've seen. At least nothing big.
Nothing big. Also on October 7th, friend of ours, Jonathan LaPoma. Happy birthday, Jonathan. October 8th, Chevy Chase. What can you say about Chevy Chase? The vacation movies, and among all of the other things that he has done. I mean, I identify with his character. With Clark Griswold.
We all do at some point or another.
Get so frustrated by stuff and so overthink things.
I when I was with the Phoenix Symphony Chorus, there was a fellow tenor in our section who, his wife, and not with much affection, would refer to him as Clark every time it came to Christmas.
Oh, dear.
Because of the way he insisted he had to have the most lights on his home.
Well, I did the Clark Griswold thing one year, and it was almost, yes. Not kicking the reindeer, though, because, well, we didn't have any reindeer.
Didn't have any reindeer. We have flamingos this year,
We have
so if you want to do
flamingos,
that.
yeah. No, I'm not going to kick the flamingos. Also on October 8th, Sigourney Weaver. Hi, I'm Sigourney Weaver. From Finding Dory.
Finding Dory, yes.
Also on Matt Damon on October 8th. October 9th, John Lennon, who sadly we lost too early.
Oh my God!
He
You know, the Beatles
still had a lot of music.
The
left
Beatles
in
had only been broken up for 10 years when we lost him.
it. I know. It's
That is
amazing.
talk about
I-
perspective.
I remember that night.
I do too. I was at one of my best friend's home when the announcement came in.
It was amazing and just, well,
It was tragic.
Tragic, exactly. Also on October 9th, Guillermo del Toro, wonderful director and producer and everything. And the next one, excuse me, I have to say, Brian Blessed. There we go. Did I get that?
Gordon's alive?
Yes. And Camille Saint-Saëns, who wrote the opera Samson Dalila, as well as the Yo-Yo Flamingo song.
Oh, my God.
The piano concerto, I think number 2 or something like that. Or, anyway.
Just
whatever it
imagine
was.
a flamingo
Yes.
with a yo-yo.
Exactly. Scott Bakula, Tony Shalhoub, who actually, until I saw him in a couple of films, I never really respected his talent because I hadn't seen anything. I didn't watch any of the shows that he was in.
Well,
But he's like a chameleon.
He really is a bit of a chameleon. I mean, I think his big breakout role was probably in the TV series Wings. But I think a lot of geeks will more fondly remember him from Galaxy Quest.
Yes. Also on October 9th, John Entwistle.
Oh, my God. He was an amazing bass player for The Who. And
Yep.
it was so tragic when we lost him.
Yeah. And Brian Hughes, a friend of ours on Facebook. October 10th, Joe Green.
Okay, I can only guess it must be Giuseppe Verdi.
Yeah, how did you know?
Because it's you.
Because it's me, yes. Giuseppe Verdi, who is opera composer and wrote a ton of operas, who actually we're going to get to see one of his operas when we go to New York City in March of next year and go to the Met Opera.
And which opera is that?
La Traviata.
That's right.
And I'm looking very much forward to that trip.
Oh, yes.
Also on October 10th, Helen Hayes, First Lady
First
of
Lady of
American
Theater.
Yes. And Michael, David Lee Roth, and another stellar musician.
Oh, my God. Another... and this one's amazing because we were talking about chameleons earlier when you mentioned Tony Shalhoub. This man is the musical equivalent.
Michael Giacchino. Oh, my God.
The man is just such a bloody genius.
I want to say, and if I may, I think that he has eclipsed Jerry and...
I would agree. And John Williams.
John Williams.
I know.
In the sense of... Jerry Goldsmith was incredible, and I love his music.
I do too.
But he had a very specific style, and it was always
Well-
Jerry. You could always tell Jerry.
I wouldn't say about that, because Jerry could get really, really weird. I mean, Planet of the Apes is the most atonal thing he's ever written, you know. And then you look at some of his Star Trek scores, and those are ridiculously lyrical.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think what Giacchino has achieved thus far is so remarkable and diverse.
Yeah. And then the same thing with John Williams. I mean, while John Williams is able to do various styles, John Williams has a very specific style of what he does. His is really leitmotif oriented.
Totally leitmotif.
And Giacchino is, while he does borrow some of that, it's very lyric. I mean, he wrote the music for Coco.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and I think the music
it's
for
like,
Coco is
oh
so
my God,
remarkably beautiful.
You have Mexican music, traditional Mexican music on one side, and then you go into something completely different for some of his other films. Anyway, enough waxing on about Michael Giacchino. Also on October 10th, Ed Wood Jr.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my.
Do we need to see either the movie with Johnny Depp, or do we need to watch Plan 9, or do we need to watch both? Moving on.
Also on October 10th, Ed Blott, director of film that we talked to him and several people from his film here recently. And Albert Hayes, friend of ours, that I've known forever.
Yes.
Here in Phoenix. And Jeffrey Niederauer. October 11th, Matt Bomer.
Currently of Doom Patrol.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Dawn French.
I worship this lady.
She is incredible. The Vicar of Dibley.
One of the funniest shows ever.
If you have not seen this show, go out and find it. It is one of the funniest things in all of its incarnations.
I think it's available on BritBox for anybody who has that streaming service.
Just The Vicar of Dibley with Dawn French. Oh my God. They're just... They did what? 3 seasons, 4 seasons, or 4?
It's something.
And they're like 5 or 6 episodes.
In towards the end, yeah. But the series is just hilarious,
just incredible. And also to round out October 11th, Thich Nhat Hanh, who is 92. He was developer of the peace movement in Vietnam in the 60s. He was a Buddhist monk, and he left Vietnam in the 60s to move to France and founded the Plum Village Monastery there in France, and also advocated for peace in Vietnam. He wasn't allowed to return until 2005.
Oh my God! So he lived in exile for that entire time.
Yeah. And then he finally, through lots of negotiations, returned in November 2018 to reside. He had a massive stroke earlier in, a year prior or so, and had been through rehab and whatnot. And his book, The Miracle of Mindfulness, is it's an incredible read. It really is. I go to that book when I need something to kind of ground myself, because there's so many wonderful things in there. And the chapter on focusing on your breath is just it's a wonderful thing. So check it out. October 12th, Hugh Jackman, Josh Hutcherson, and I put him on here because he is an activist for the LGBT community. Now, he said that he's mostly straight.
Yes,
but,
I've heard that.
He really is a proponent of equality and for the LGBTQ community.
Yes, he's a very strong ally.
Yeah. Luciano Pavarotti on October 12th, and Rafe Vaughan Williams. I think it was the 5 Mystical Songs that is incredible that I hear all the time on Met Opera Radio.
I sang his work, Dona Nobis Pacem, and to me, that was just, I'm singing it and I'm in tears. It was so moving and powerful.
It really was. And also on October 12th, Deborah Hildebrandt. Happy birthday, Deborah. October 13th, Sacha Baron Cohen.
How appropriate. We just got to see him in Hugo.
Yeah. And Paul Simon. What can you say about Paul Simon? Simon and Garfunkel.
Simon and Garfunkel. But the material that man put out.
Oh, my gosh.
Because he wrote all that material for Simon and Garfunkel.
Yep.
I mean, an amazing genius.
Yep. And Sammy Hagar.
I love Hagar.
And to round out all the birthdays on October 13th, good friend David Burkett.
We can't forget his twin.
Happy birthday. Yes, and Mark.
His twin brother, Mark Burkett.
Yes, Mark Burkett. Happy birthday, David and Mark. And that's it for the birthdays this time.
Hi, this is Holly. You're tuned in to Krypton Radio. It's sci-fi for your Wi-Fi.
We always like to give a shout out to Krypton Radio. We do
Yeah.
on at the end of every episode too, because we are featured on Krypton Radio on 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific time on Tuesdays.
Yes, but I also love that bumper.
Yeah, it's a great bumper. And they also, Krypton Radio is a 24-hour geeky internet radio station. They play all kinds of wonderful things. They have several different shows, several talk shows, and they have just a little bit of everything that's geek related. So go check them out at kryptonradio.com.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe, and I believe that reaching out for help is the bravest thing a person can do. If you are struggling and need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. It's free and confidential, and trained counselors are there to listen 24/7 without judgment. To learn more about the Trevor Project's life-saving work for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning young people, go to thetrevorproject.org.
Haven't let me play this in a long time. So cut it off. We don't have time.
We don't. We really waxed on during the birthdays.
Yeah, we did.
And we got a couple things we still need to cover. So, yes, this is the feedback section. So, starting off with TG Geeks episode 233, we got this comment on YouTube from user JS357S, or it could be regarded as JS357Z. I'm not sure. Anyway, this person wrote, OMG, the Mark Ellis interview was fantastic. Disappointed like you that it wasn't longer. I'm curious if you ever saw Robot Chicken, and if so, what he thought of the parodies of He-Man. You really could do more shows with him covering different topics like getting into the toy business and such. We've talked about that. Again, first rate, but yes, we've actually talked about getting him back on the show for other
because
stuff.
Apparently he was instrumental in continuing the Hot Wheels line after he did He-Man. So we'll see if we can get Mark back on and talk more about the toy business.
Right. And then moving on, regarding Raising Buchanan in theaters September 27th, Phoenix Film Festival Best Arizona Feature. Got a comment from the film Raising Buchanan, and they write, thank you. Got a comment from the lead actress, Amanda Melby. She says, thanks for the support, TG Squared Studios. Raising Buchanan at Harkins Theater, Shave 14, starting September 27th. And then we close it all off with just a general comment. This was not attached to anything that we wrote or put out there. This is just a comment from writer Zachary Wheeler. You've heard us, he's been on the show a couple of times, and you've heard us talk
Max
about
and
his
the
work.
Multiverse and Transient, which is now the Immortal Wake series.
Right, and he has to say about that. Wait, what? You want more weekend deals? Well, want no more, because Thursday Midnight, Book 2 of the Immortal Wake, is currently free on Kindle. And then he does this quote. Thursday Midnight is quite simply one of the most compelling and intelligent science fiction books to come along in a very long time. Why did we include that quote? Because we're the ones who wrote that review.
Yeah, you're the one that wrote that review.
Okay.
And I will also say that he quoted us again for the, what was it? Which one? Oh, the
It was one of the Max stories, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's one of the Max one-off stories.
Yeah, you wrote the review for that.
The item of monumental importance.
That's
my God, it is the funniest short story on the planet.
Yeah, you wrote the review on that, and he quoted you.
I literally laughed out loud, and
oh my God, the
he
ending
is
on that.
Definitely worthy of the mantle.
After reading that, yes, he is the heir apparent to Douglas Adams.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's our comments for this week. If you want to leave a comment on anything that we do, whether it's on our episodes or it's on any of our published content, you can leave a comment on our YouTube episodes in the comment section for the episodes that we do, on tggeeks.com on everything that we do, and as well as on Facebook, because everything we publish goes to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. So all of those places you can leave a comment and we will announce it on air. If you want, you could leave us a voicemail. You could call our listener feedback line at 469-TG-Geeks. That is 469-844-3357, and leave a voicemail, and we'll play that on air as well. And when you leave a comment or a voicemail, remember always,
please play nice.
Well, we've got a lot of things in the pipeline oh my gosh, we're doing, this weekend is filled with 6 interviews.
Yes, we did 3 interviews on Saturday, 3 interviews on Sunday,
and we're going to be filled up. So
yeah, not quite sure what we're going to be running.
Scott Coatsworth, for his new book that is releasing
that is right.
the next day. So check out next Monday for his interview, and we'll have that for you next week. If you are in transition or have already transitioned and are in crisis, or you know of someone in crisis, there is a special hotline just for you. The hotline is provided by translifeline.org and staffed by specially trained counselors who are transgender themselves. The hotline in the U.S. is 877-565-8860. In Canada, it is 877-330-6366. Or you can go to the translifeline.org for more information about the important work they are doing. Please reach out for help.
Yeah, baby. They're like 2 gay geeks. They're together, you know. They're 2 gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
I got a few things we need to really touch on. And Keith alluded to this early on. We lost a number of people.
Quite a few people recently. A number of them this week.
Mm-hmm.
And, but one that we have neglected so far, and we apologize. We lost Aaron Eisenberg.
This has really garnered a lot of reaction. A lot of people are very sad about that, including me.
Yeah.
Because we had just seen recently the documentary, What We Left Behind.
Yeah.
About Deep Space Nine. And what I think was wonderful is that the film creators of that documentary released a very extended interview segment with Aaron, which was very, very touching. But the one thing that I really remember is that, I mean, here's this guy who as a kid gets this really amazing meaty role, which obviously must have had some kind of legs to it because they kept bringing him back. And then they gave him what I thought was an amazing story arc as this kid, this Ferengi child who becomes a really well-respected Starfleet officer. He takes on a role of a wounded soldier and deals with post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, the guy got a really wonderful tale to tell.
Yeah.
And that gets to stay. He's got that as his legacy now. And even he said that of all the things that he's ever worked on, Deep Space Nine is what he is most proud of, and he loved the impact that it was still making on people. And as, even though we may have lost him way too soon, I think his work on Deep Space Nine, especially the last couple of years, has immortalized him. Because of that now, he will live forever.
Absolutely. And it's just it's so sad when you lose these people that mean so much to you. I mean, yeah, they're characters and they're people that played characters, but they've come to mean something to people. You know, they become your family.
In a way, they really do. Especially
know.
when you see the actor or actors or whoever, when they embrace, if they're playing a character repeatedly and they've come to embrace that character because they understand what that character means to the fans, you know, that acts as the character itself becomes a conduit to us appreciating that performer.
Exactly. And then you see them at cons and they're, you know, everybody that has commented, I haven't seen a negative comment about Aaron.
No.
Everybody
loved him. He was such a generous young man.
Yeah.
And I don't think he ever made it into any of the Phoenix cons.
I don't know.
I don't recall.
Yeah. But we also lost Jessie Norman this week. Oh my
marvelous
gosh.
soprano.
She was one of the wonderful operas that is forever in my brain.
Ariadne of Naxos.
Ariadne, yes. And her portrayal of the
Ariadne.
diva, and then she's and then the glorious music in the second act.
My
oh
God.
my Lord.
The duet she sings with Bacchus in the last 20 minutes of that opera is just beyond glorious.
Yep.
And we lost another one. We just learned about this one yesterday, Marcello Giordani.
Yeah.
And his was too soon. And I really want to say one thing about him. This man was so generous.
Yep.
He really gave back to the opera community and did all that he could to help up-and-coming opera singers. So, if anything, I think that's an even greater legacy than the roles he took on. And I read over 240 roles in the Met.
That's amazing. Yeah. And we also lost
Ginger Baker of Cream.
Yeah, who I was saying, I thought he was already dead.
Well, in a way, he was. We make jokes, and maybe that's all in poor taste, but Ginger was in very poor health. And I remember I heard stories, I don't know if any of this is true, but I had heard a story that when Cream reunited for their performance at Royal Albert Hall, that people actually had to hoist Ginger onto his drummer's seat. And then the man, he played like a madman, like he always does. And then they had to pull him down when he was done because he just couldn't move.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any truth to that, if that's urban legend or whatever. But nonetheless, Cream is arguably one of the very first supergroups ever to come along in rock music. So he left his own legacy.
Yep. And then also we lost Diane Carroll this week.
This one,
she was,
my God, mover and shaker in social equality.
Yeah, and she was the first black woman that had a TV show,
a sitcom.
Yeah, so she had an incredible career. I saw John Eisen, your friend, well, our friend, but more so your friend, posted this clip from YouTube of Diane Carroll and Judy Garland singing some things, and they sang a little duet, and she just was incredible, just incredible. And she married Vic Damone, and interestingly enough, Vic Damone's son Perry had a TV show, or not TV show, a radio show in the afternoon on KEZ here following Beth and Bill.
That's right.
So. Rest in peace, all of those that we've lost in the last week or so. As everybody knows, we are huge supporters of independent creators, whether it's filmmakers, comic book artists, writers, or others. Please, if you see them, buy their stuff, go up and chat with them, talk to other people about their stuff, tell other people about the wonderful things that you've discovered about them, and please buy their stuff. Please consider supporting independent creators. Did I say please buy their stuff?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Just wanted to be sure. Joshua Tree Feeding Program is a 501c3 nonprofit food pantry for the HIV/AIDS community in Maricopa and Pinal counties. Joshua Tree offers a wide assortment of nutritional foods for the clients to take home. It's set up as a store so the clients can pick what they want, and it empowers them to not waste food. It gives them the opportunity to choose what they want and take only those things that they want and need. And they also have a pet assistance project that they can take home some things for their pets, whether it's cat litter or cat food, dog food, and some supplies for their fur babies. Please consider supporting Joshua Tree either through a single gift or a monthly recurring gift. you can go to Joshua Tree or jtfp.org, or just look up Joshua Tree Feeding Program on Google. The Grand Canyon Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence are holding their third annual Red Dress Ball in November. It is going to be at the Parsons Center for Health and Wellness, and the proceeds this year go to Joshua Tree Feeding Program and AIDS Walk Arizona, sponsored by Aunt Rita's Foundation. Now it's our weekly recap.
Yes. Starting off with Sunday, September 29th, Dr. Zombie Monster Family Physician number 68 from the machine, the man, the myth, Tommy Cannon. And then on Monday, the 30th, TG Geeks episode number 241. On October 1st, Tuesday, 1917 featurette from Universal Pictures. That is a very interesting film.
That little featurette was a one-shot featurette, too.
Right.
So.
But that's a very interesting. You might want to check that one out. In fact, I would recommend check out all of these articles. We will have the links for these in the show notes for this episode at tggeeks.com, so you can find it all there. Then let's see, we are now on Wednesday, October 2nd, Liberty, Mother of Exiles. This is a documentary. It debuts October 17th on HBO.
And that's the
about
documentary
the
on
Statue
the
of
Statue of Liberty. Looks fascinating.
It does. Then on Thursday, October 3rd, Ben's Breakdown. Digital horror and storytelling lurks on the dark web. So yes, if you want to know what I think about the dark web, you can find it there. I recommend people, after you listen to the interview with Michael Nardelli, read the review, and then see the show.
Yep.
Absolutely. And then on Friday, News Sushi number 82, morsels of news from Japan and beyond. That is from the
82.
Number 82. That is from the also Machine Man myth, Hamish Downey. And then on Saturday, October 5th, The Gentleman trailer in theaters. And that comes out January 2020.
And you can find all these things at tggeeks.com, as well as entries on our Facebook page. And in this article, you can find those links to those articles, so you don't have to go look them up. And now,
let's give some quick shout-outs. First, to the Arkle Times Post-Dispatch News. This is put out by the Human Arkle, also known as Brian Weber. He puts out the Post-Dispatch News, which republishes our content from time to time. And you can find the Post-Dispatch News by going to Twitter and searching at Arkle, A-R-K-L-E. And then he has the Shameless Cash Grab season number 3. You can find that by going to Twitter. No, Twitter, listen to me. YouTube.
Yes, YouTube.
Sorry,
Twitter.
YouTube. Yeah, you Twitter.
TwitterTube. There we go.
TwitterTube, yes. You can find it by going to YouTube and youtube.com/Arkle Studios. And the last regular episode of season 3, episode 19 is up, and the wrap up is scheduled for Halloween.
Yay.
And then we must give some shout outs to a couple of Facebook groups for also allowing us to post all of our lovely stuff there. First, to Gay Geeks After Hours. When I asked if we could share their stuff, they said, yes, please share away. And boy, do we ever. Their URL is facebook.com/groups/Gay Geeks After Hours. And that's all one word, of course. And then to The Gay Geek for also allowing us to share all of our lovely stuff. And their page is facebook.com/group/The Gay Geek. And we must give thanks to their moderator, Jeremiah Reeves, for saying, oh, yes, by all means, have fun here.
Thank you, Jeremiah. And we can be found on Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, as well as where other fine podcasts can be found. Also, check us out on Krypton Radio, as I said earlier, 3 a.m., 3 p.m. Pacific time on Tuesdays. Listen to their other content. And please rate us and review us on iTunes. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We're going to have several links on the page of things we talked about. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com, or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. From TG Squared Studios, I'm Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. Please be kind to yourself and others. Peace.
Cheers.